Welcome everybody to the Jank Brewers podcast slash YouTube channel slash
maybe podcast one day. I don't want.
It's a very short podcast. YouTube channel. We've already botched the intro, so let's just roll into it. You guys are playing some cards.
Stop.
Too much.
Stop playing them.
You need to stop because. Yeah, you look at the top 100 cards on EDH Rec, and look, a lot of them deserve to be played. A lot of them are...
Sol Ring deserves to be played.
Sol Ring. Always play Sol Ring. It's really good.
I own one deck that does not have a Sol Ring.
Shame on you.
It's Gitrog.
That makes sense.
But
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. However, there's a lot of cards on that top 100. You guys are just playing too much. You think these cards are a lot better than they are?
I don't know if this first one is on top 100. It might be.
Listen, I see a lot of people playing it, so even if it's not on the top 100 on EDH Rec, I see a lot of people playing this card, and it makes me mad, and so y'all are going to get some humble pie today, and it's Reliquary Tower. Stop playing Reliquary Tower.
I am the only one allowed to put it in every deck.
You are a slut for card draw.
Yes, every deck I own, except my Marchesa deck. Oh, no, it's Monarch, has card draw.
Yeah.
I don't think I have Reliquary Tower in there, though. Has an insane amount of card draw.
Listen, I know you're like, what if I have more than 7 cards in hand? Has that ever happened?
And
when has that happened?
And if it does, if you have 8 or 9, do you need the other lands that are in there right
now? How is your mana curve so high that you can even have that many cards in hand that you aren't going to cast?
Yeah, why is your mana curve up at 5?
What's wrong?
3?
Yeah, seriously, what is wrong with your mana curve that you're sitting up at 5 and you actually need to have a Reliquary Tower because you're drawing so many cards?
That's also poor deck building if you're putting Reliquary Tower in there just as a safety.
Yeah.
Not to keep your hand for answers or like to play whenever.
Yeah.
It's I'm gonna go over 7 cards, I need to have this in there.
Yeah, that means unless you are doing something very specific where you want to, draw over your... And here's the thing. If you're doing something like, for example, I'm building an Osgear deck right now. Sometimes I will purposely not play a land on my first turn so I can draw over maximum hand size and discard something I want in the graveyard for the future.
Yeah, for Osgear.
Yeah, for Osgear. But that's a very conditional thing. And in that case, I still wouldn't run Reliquary Tower because that screws that strategy over.
People are going to be yelling at you for not playing land turn 1 and being a turn behind now.
Hey, listen. It's fine, okay? This is we're not in Modern, all right?
This is Commander, please.
Also, I've seen people, I don't want to hear it because I have seen people not play a land for this exact purpose. I was just at the pre-release party for Modern Horizons 2, and there were people that had a persist in their hand. They would specifically dump a big creature into their graveyard, not play a land turn 1, and then
persist.
Yeah, and then turn 3, you get a persist. A giant creature onto the field, and you just win. So...
Also, since this is video number 2, again, we are Commander focused.
We're Commander exclusive.
Yep, I like Pauper.
That's not a real format.
I like Pauper.
Pauper's like Brawl. Like, yeah, it exists. How's Pioneer going?
What?
Yeah, I don't even know what Pioneer is.
Theros, like original Theros forward. Dunno.
Okay, I don't like that. That's weird. For all of you Pioneer players out there,
stop.
Pick a better format.
Commander.
Come play Commander. It's Eternal, and there's like a pretty small band list.
Hey, it's speaking of Eternal. Segue.
Segue.
Not planned. Stop playing Eternal Witness. It's not good.
It's just...
Play Reclaim. Is Reclaim the 1 mana or 1 in a green? I can't remember.
Here's a spoiler of Reclaim.
Yeah. I will find the other one too. There is one. It's what I think Reclaim is a green. Yeah, Reclaim is 1 green, and then Regrowth is 1 in a green.
Yeah.
To do the exact same thing. Oh, but it has a body. Okay, when is a 2/1 ever going to help you?
Yeah, and also, I mean, I understand that it's like when it comes into play, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, I understand that can hit anything. That can get an artifact, that can get anything. You can even get a planeswalker back. Here's the thing. How often are you really doing that? Most of the time, when you want something back from your graveyard, it's a creature, yeah?
Or a land.
Or a land, which, there are better ways to do that than Eternal Witness. So, it's versatile, which is nice, but, if you're not specifically planning on getting something from the graveyard that isn't a creature, then don't play Eternal Witness. Play one of the other things that just gets creatures.
There are other things, though. This puts it in your hand. If you're in black, there are effects for like three CMC or 4 CMC in black to just put it back on the field.
Or 2.
Yeah.
Persist.
Like
I was saying.
Also, Eternal Witness, you're not playing this on turn 3 on curve.
No.
Right? Because what do you have in your graveyard on turn 3 that you need to get back?
Right. Like, and especially if you're just returning it to your hand, then what are you doing?
Yeah, especially like...
Why is it in the graveyard in the first place?
If you're on turn 7, you're not playing an Eternal Witness to get something back, because if you're doing that over a Reclaim or a Regrowth, you are spending more mana, because now, yeah, you have a body. But you should have other bodies or something better.
A 2/1 body in Commander is a nothing. That is not
7,
a creature.
On like turn 7, that's nothing.
Yeah.
Right? You play a Reclaim for 1 green. That is 2 mana less than this. You might be able to cast the thing you just got back. Same thing.
And here's the thing. Unless you're trying to get artifacts, which, by the way, there are better things for that. There's an Arcbound Reclaimer, Scrapyard Recombiner.
Yeah,
it's one of those.
Things.
Here's a spoiler of the card I'm talking about, but can't remember the name of. If you're trying to get an artifact, do that. Play for your deck. Don't just go, oh, well, this gets any card. Okay, but you're not usually going to use that.
Are there decks this is good?
Sure.
Yes.
If you've got a specific reason to run this,
but it does not go in every green deck.
No, especially because where it's saying, get target card from your graveyard. Well, if you're in a green deck, odds are you're going to be largely creature-based.
Yeah.
So run things that get creatures. It's much easier. If you need an instant or sorcery, run Mystic Sanctuary. It's much better, and that should actually be an auto-include in pretty much every blue deck. But run that if you need if you need an instant or sorcery. If you need
there's just better and cheaper ways to do it than Eternal.
Yeah, it's like say if you need an artifact, use something that gets artifacts. Use something that gets creatures. Be specific for your deck and don't spend 3 mana to do it. It's just it's not that super fantastic. No. So stop. Do better. All right, I feel like we've ripped on the Eternal Witness people long enough. So let's rip on.
Oh, the one that we... people are going to hate us for this
You're not going to like this, but... the signets are not that great.
The dual signets.
The dual signet.
Arcane Signet.
Arcane Signet is fantastic.
Other than that, the other signets are garbage. The 10 guilds. I'm not going with schools because we don't have all 10. I'm not going to do that.
Okay, look. The signets are... they're not... great because you have to pay mana into them in order to make them work, which means that if you're playing them on curve, they're not usable when they come down.
No.
So let's say that you have an Arcane Signet instead. I've seen this. Let's say that you've just got the mother of all curves in your hand. And
you got the nut.
You got the nut. You play basic land. You tap basic land into a Soul Ring. You tap the Soul Ring into an Arcane Signet. You tap the Arcane Signet into a Esper Sentinel. I've seen that one time, and it was glorious and disgusting.
Yeah.
Now, that's great. Here's the thing. If you're running one of the standard signets, then you're not going to do that because you're going to tap the Soul Ring
and play a signet.
Into a signet, and you're going to stop because you can't pay mana into it to activate it, so you're just done. Now you're going to say, oh,
no, I have one deck that has, I think, 5 of these, and it's my dragon deck.
Which is fair, I think, but at the same time, do you have the talismans in there?
No, because I was not rich enough to buy said talismans.
And here's the thing, the talismans have been reprinted to the point that they're actually pretty cheap now.
I think the most expensive one is $8 currently.
Yeah, so here's the thing, if you're running the signets and you can afford the talismans, because the talismans aren't that expensive. They're more expensive than the signets, but that's because the signets are bad. There's a reason they put the signets in all the precons and they don't put the talismans in. It's because the talismans are a lot better.
I feel like the thing people look at with the signets is they see the 2 mana symbols on it and think they're netting 2 mana. You're netting 1. You're basically playing a 2 mana land.
Yeah, it's just... And here's the thing. I don't actually have a problem with the Signet lands, because that fixes you. It's in your mana base. It's not taking up a spell slot.
Yeah.
So if you want to be really, really budget friendly,
Signet lands we can put something on.
yeah,
You know, whatever.
I'm okay with the Signet lands, but the Signets themselves, no, that takes up a spell slot. You could be putting, like you say, run an Arcane Signet. That's the only Signet worth running is Arcane. Don't run the regular Signets. Run literally anything else.
Yeah.
Just, they're not... And look, if it comes down to like, oh, well, you know, I don't really have enough rocks, okay, then run the Talismans and put the Signet in there. But, like, realize that most of the time you've got better options.
You have other things. Like, if you're dying for colors, you're doing your curve wrong, and we'll talk about curve, fixing all this other stuff. You have 2 mana rocks like Mind Stone.
Yeah.
Or Prismatic Lens. Yeah, they're tapping for a colorless.
But you're still getting more mana, so...
Yeah.
Look, if you're dying for mana fixing, the Signets are not how you should mana fix. It's a very suboptimal way to fix. There are much better ways to do it, so...
Stop.
Do those. Alright, well, now that everybody is tuned out because they hate us because you ripped on the Signets!
Yeah, it gets worse.
They're bad.
It gets worse with this one.
I disagree with this one, but I respect your right to have this opinion.
I am alone in this category.
I don't think you are. I have seen people say this before, but very few before the mob came and stabbed them with pitchforks.
I don't like Lightning Greaves. I don't.
Okay. It's actually fair.
I don't run Swift. I have one deck with Swiftfoot Boots. None of my decks rely on things with haste and stuff, so I don't run them. Lightning Greaves is worse than Swiftfoot Boots.
It is definitely... I will give you that. It's definitely worse than Swiftfoot Boots, and here's why.
Well, people would argue because it's got Equip 0, it's better.
It's not, though.
It's not.
It's... If you're going with the Equip 0, then it's about the same for the opportunity loss, I suppose. But...
In the game, I personally hate the keyword Shroud.
It's difficult.
Because you may be thinking, oh, I don't need a target. Because the difference between Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots in text, like not cost, equipment, or whatever, they both give haste. Lightning Greaves gives Shroud. Swiftfoot Boots gives Hexproof.
Yeah.
Okay? Hexproof, opponents can't target your stuff. Shroud, no one can target your stuff.
Including you.
Including you. Now, you may be thinking, that's not that important, I don't target anything. Until you need to.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You should have some stuff. If your commander is important to the way that your deck functions, you should have some abilities that target your commander. Like, you should have a command beacon in there, for example. Or you should have... That's the one that comes off the top of my head. Like a command beacon, you know, you could even just unsummon, like, you know, in response to a board wipe or a kill spell that you don't want it to go back to the command zone, just unsummon it back to your hand. Single target Cyclonic Rift. Don't do that if you can avoid it. But like,
I did it once and it won me a game, so
listen,
I will stand on that
There
hill.
are times to cast single target Cyclonic Rift. It's not most of the time. Yeah, like there are a lot of times when you're going to want to, or if your commander is important. Like, I've got a Brea control deck where I never cast Brea because she's not important. I just needed the colors. So, you know, in a situation like that, yeah, okay, sure, run Lightning Greaves, that's fine. Because you're not needing to target your own creatures in that specific one. However, if your commander is important to your deck tech, you might screw yourself over by accident by putting something in there with Shroud. So,
you know, the thing is too, if you got creatures, right, you can bounce it back and forth.
Yeah.
Right, whatever. Why go through all? It's free. It's 0, right? Whatever. Just run Swiftfoot Boots. Equip it once, and you never have to take it off.
Never have to worry about it. And if you need to slide it over to something else, okay, fine. Then
1 mana?
For 1 mana. You can't handle 1 mana. Come on, we have a mana rock that costs 1 and taps for 2. We're the only format where that rock is legal. So, like, come on, you can spare 1.
You can do it.
You can do it. Come on. And yeah, like, if haste is your thing, neither Lightning Greaves nor Swiftfoot Boots is your play. Play Tuk Tuk Gravel Fort.
Yeah, and then also depending on, I think Crashing Drawbridge will do it.
Yeah, Crashing Drawbridge is great. That's also
colorless.
2 mana.
That's colorless to just, put in any deck. Most, I would assume, hasty things are either red, white, or green. So
Generally if you need it to go right away. So,
So Rhythm of the Wild is good. All your creatures have Riot. You can give them +1/+1 or haste.
Run Fervor. Fervor's only $6. 2 and a red. Gives all your creatures haste. Hammer of Perforos. All your creatures have haste.
Just run the global things. Don't worry about the single target things.
Yeah, look, guys, it's fine. Why only give your commander haste when for 1 more mana you can give all your stuff haste? Also, I will say, it's an artifact. Artifacts are not as good as enchantments, and some of the other stuff like Fervor that I mentioned are enchantments. Enchantments are harder to deal with. People do actually run artifact removal. It's not that hard to get rid of artifacts. It's harder to get rid of enchantments. People run less of that. So, you're more protected, and now all of your creatures have haste. So, just run that instead. It's better.
I don't like this card. I don't like Shroud.
And look, again, if you don't think that you really need to run if you don't have any spells in your deck that target your commander, number one, maybe you should look at the way you're building your deck, because maybe you should have a command beacon or something that does target your commander. That might be more
advantageous. Doesn't command beacon just get it out of the command zone, though?
I believe it either puts it back in your hand from the battlefield or from the command zone.
Because if it's in the command zone, these won't matter. But
I'm curious now, because I think that it also does battlefield. But let me... Yeah.
puts on into your hand from the command zone.
Okay, so that one doesn't work. So okay, if you're running command beacon, you can keep running. You can keep
running your lightning grease.
But if you have anything else that needs to target, if you need to buff your commander, if you need to unsummon your commander, if you need to
anything,
you want to cast in any of your indestructibility auras, in literally anything. There's better options, guys. So don't. If you don't have anything that targets your commander, again, see if maybe you should be building your deck to where you do have some stuff that interacts with your commander. If your commander is just not that important and you need to have haste, then yeah, I guess this works. But it's not an auto include. How's that? Too many people.
It's not.
Too many people put this and Swiftfoot Boots as just an auto include in their decks, and I don't.
I disagree.
I don't think I have neither of these in any of my decks.
I have Swiftfoot Boots in one deck.
Yeah, one of my decks that really needs my creatures to have haste. Again, I run all the Anthem haste effects.
1 out of 13 decks.
Yeah.
So
I've got again, Purpose Hammer, Fervor, Tuk Tuk Rabble Fort. Run all of those because they help all your creatures, and they're almost as cheap as this one mana wise. So
yeah,
if that's your goal, just do that.
Yeah. Okay, now that our rant's over, and people hate us.
Hey, they probably don't hate us.
You wanna
listen? They don't hate us. They just hate our opinions, and they'll probably let that bleed over, and now they hate us.
Yeah. You can go ahead and you take us out.
If you enjoy having your opinions and your deck techs and your deck building ideas insulted, and you just really like us dragging you through the mud and everything you believe in, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and like and comment and Patreon eventually, right? You're going to Patreon someday?
I don't know. This is video number 2.
With the channel you just created today, I think?
Yeah.
Someday, Patreon. Today, subscribe. And, notification bell. We don't have to tell you about the notification bell, okay? Every content creator on YouTube is telling you about the notification bell. You know that you don't see the notifications otherwise. Just, the drill. Do all the stuff. Poke all the buttons below the video here.
We love you.
Bye.